And we are live. Okay, well, so far it doesn't look like we've got anybody in, but hopefully people will come in. If not, they'll be watching it on replay. So I thought, because a lot of my people might not have come across your channel before, Ping, so I thought maybe just a quick rundown of who you are and what you do. Hi, Fran.
Okay. Yeah, hey Fran, she comes to my channel sometimes. I guess she's one of your people that found me.
Oh, I think she must be one of your people, actually.
One of my people? I could be. People tend to jump channels. So I'll give you the rundown. I'm
Yeah.
Ping. My channel is Nights with Ping, and I was originally from Web Sleuths. They have a YouTube channel, and I originally came from there. So that was where I came from originally. And then I opened my channel, Nights with Ping, a couple of years ago. And recently, we've been going to the Supreme Court every single day to follow the Erin Patterson trial. But I do Australian and US and UK true crime. So
Yeah, I've looked at your playlist. You've got quite a range of cases there. So
yeah, I think we're just
really
about
cool.
to get 700 maybe next month. So
wow, that's good. Yeah. So Erin Patterson, if you're not totally sick of it, I know a lot of my people have been asking me to cover it, and I can't keep up. It's just gone on so long. Hi everyone who's coming in too. Hi Teresa and Rachel. So yeah, just maybe a quick rundown for people from my channel on where things are at with this. It sounds like she's well and truly cooked, to use a pun.
I would say we're getting to that real sticky point of the trial, and it's so right now it's Erin Patterson is in the witness box. She had been questioned by her own barrister, who is Colin Mandy SC, and that went on for a majority of this week. And in the last couple of days, we've had Dr. Nanette Rogers, who is the lead prosecution, and she has been asking questions now of Erin. When that'll wrap up, I'm not even sure, but I know that next week will be week 7 and day 29 of court time. So
wow. Gosh, so that'll mean a lot of deliberation time for the jury when it actually reaches an end too. That'll be...
it could be.
Yeah. Unless, of course, I mean, I haven't been able to keep up, so, it might just be clear cut and they might all come back within, 12 hours and go, yeah, okay, I'll lock her up.
Yeah, you never know how they go. Sometimes when you think it's going to be a quick verdict, it is, and then sometimes when you think it's going to be the other way, it's not. You never quite know because you're not in those deliberation rooms, and these, 7 weeks of the trial, these people have had time to talk with each other or whatever they do in the jury room. So we'll see.
Yeah. What's your feel so far?
Um, I don't have one right now. I think with everything that's sort of it changes. Some days we have the prosecution and they're all day, and then the next day you have the defense and then you have them all day. So it's really a little up and down right now. I think over the next couple of weeks we'll all get a clearer idea, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. So how long is it looking at going for?
I think they said yesterday it could be all of maybe next week and maybe even longer than that. I think they're sort of talking something around that range.
Wow. That's a long time. That's a really long time. Yeah, I'm going to have to pop into your live streams and keep up with the case now to...
I definitely when I embarked on this, I didn't think I was going to be here for week 7 or week 8. I sort of thought we were going to maybe do about a month and then maybe finish up a little early, but it hasn't sort of worked out that way. We're going into almost 2 months of trial weeks. So
yeah, wow. Yeah, that's really, really full on. Interesting.
All right.
Okay,
Do you want to talk about Phoebe?
Yeah. So
something I can talk more freely. So
yeah. I think I've kind of watched enough and read enough to at least have some idea of where we're headed with this. So we have 2 people finally under arrest, thank heavens. I mean, honestly, what a tool is that Wood guy?
I mean, those
What?
photos came out today too. I don't know if you saw them. I wonder if I can bring them up for you. There was a screenshot brought up. I mean, I know everyone likes to party or whatever, but there was those screenshots of him wearing, I don't know what he's wearing. Looks like Speedos or boxer shorts and
Oh no.
fishnet stockings on his arms.
Oh no. No, not a
So,
good look.
no.
Yeah, the epitome of the Australian bogan.
A little bit, a little bit.
Oh my gosh, no, I haven't actually seen those. Far out. What a loser.
That's what I call him on my channel.
So have you got those images? Or
Let me see if I can bring it up. It's on the front page of the Mail. Hold on.
oh okay.
There you go.
Oh no. Oh that's disgusting. That's horrible. Oh, I don't know what is wrong with that guy. He must have like only a quarter of a brain cell. I mean, really, to first of all, to be trying to put out his own little story, which just made him look even more stupid and more guilty. And now we're seeing all this crap as well. Like, wow.
This article here, this one has apparently their reporter who is Jonica Bray. She was up in Gingin and she says she spoke to him several times surrounding near the date when he was arrested, and he kept giving her like these weird conflicting stories, and he'd be like, I always hoped that Phoebe would come home and things like that.
Yeah, I've followed some of the Daily Mail footage, and they've actually done a really good job with this case, I have to say. Yeah, it seems like he's just constantly trying to be his own little PR man, but he just fell flat. So bad. But yeah. So, did you find the clip of the arrest?
Yes. Well, let's play that. Then we'll talk. I've got these quotes that you can see on the screen now. So we'll
Oh
play the
wow.
arrest
We'll look at the
video,
quote.
and then we'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll do that.
Yeah. All right. Let's play this. So this is police QPS, courtesy of Sky News. They released vision of the arrest leading to Phoebe Bishop. So like this is police release vision. Yeah, related. Here we go. Let's. I don't know if we get any audio.
They've put out everything except the police officers.
Just listen to me. That the Sergeant Barnaby signaling in. Placing an arrest warrant for the Phoebe Bishop.
So, yeah, kind of short and sweet, and they took out most of the audio, but looks like he was still living in that rundown caravan.
It's good news to hear those words though. You're under arrest for the homicide of Phoebe Bishop. I actually think the theory I've heard going around is that when he gave that other interview to the Mail, I think it was on Wednesday, that the police knew that they had him because he had changed his timeline. Now I don't have that verified, but that's what I've been hearing. So.
Yeah. Your mic keeps dropping out a little bit.
Oh, really? We have had some problems with it, so.
I actually wondered too with them because he gave that interview giving his new version of the story Wednesday morning. Then they took him into the custody and then they let him go again Wednesday night. And I'm wondering if they were hoping that he might have tried to go and tamper with evidence again or move Phoebe or something. You know, I kind of wonder if that's the reason of having him in Wednesday and then letting him loose again.
I think you're 100% right. I actually think they've been following him for weeks. When he went into the weapons charges and then they released him again, I actually think that he was being followed for most of that. Not every day, but, they were keeping tabs on him.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, they released that Hyundai pretty damn quick, which to me makes me think that they put trackers on it. And especially because now they're saying that they believe that Phoebe was moved with another vehicle, which would be that the Hilux that all the media caught Bromley in. So,
Yeah, that ute.
Yeah. So I'd say that I reckon they put tracking devices on that Hyundai when they took it in, and then that's why they gave it back so quickly.
It's just a shame that they don't seem to have ever gone back. The information I saw this morning is that they believe, at least at this point, that Phoebe probably is in that Goodnight National Park, and that they're just not sure where. So
Yeah, so it sounds like they moved her twice, which is really disturbing.
it is horrific. You got to think, you got to pick up a body. So originally, if we just all think about this, somehow this girl was killed, right? We don't know if it's by a weapon or strangulation or whatever it is. Then you have to conceal her for a period of time. Then you moved her a couple of times. In all this period of time, you're touching this dead person. So you think about what type of person you have to be to do an act like that.
Oh, it's really disturbing. I mean, at least touch wood. Well, I think he's so dumb. There'll be so much DNA, providing they can find her. There'll be so much DNA that they can use against him. I mean, they've probably got evidence with DNA anyway, because they said they found evidence in the national park, and he doesn't strike me as the sort that's going to be overly careful with his DNA. So, fingers crossed.
Something tells me too that the cops have known since day one. Normally, when you open up a missing person investigation, it's not structured the way that this investigation happened. Like I said it on my show last night, like normally when you get a missing person investigation, they're like, hey, here's some CCTV and Lucy has been missing for 2 weeks now and she was seen here, here and here. But that's not what really happened here. It was almost like because she was missing, but it's almost like they knew it was a homicide investigation from very, very early on.
Yeah, I agree, and I think too they were deliberately feeding Wood and Bromley, trying to get them to act. I mean, they were so careful about the information they released, and they just let Wood go. They just let him go and talk to anyone and everyone, and I think he just got too cocky, which will certainly help their case. But
I
yeah,
want to know. They said that there was forensic evidence, and I don't know if they mean this is Phoebe or not. But they said that at that property that they searched a couple of times now, there was forensic evidence that had been removed. Do they mean, uh, do they mean that's Phoebe, or do they mean tools that they use to do whatever? That's what I would like to know.
yeah, because they said that she was moved twice. So, it's possible. I think, they seem pretty confident that they did take her out to the national park area.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did make the house a crime scene, they wouldn't just do that just randomly. So, yeah, there's got to be so much more to this that's gone on behind the scenes.
Well, they're not going to
So,
waste the resources sending forensic soil samplers. Like they had SES, homicide investigators. They had like 100 people out at that Goodnight Scrubland Park or whatever. They had
yeah.
100 officers. They're not going to waste resources in a rural town if they didn't have something pretty solid.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, those dogs would have had to have come from Brisbane or maybe even Sydney. I don't know what they've got there in Queensland. So, you know, that's a costly venture as well. So, you know, they really must have a lot on these people already. So,
Yeah, I think they were waiting for a slip up and they got it on Wednesday. And I think when
yeah,
I wonder if that story he told the media about how they were driving to the airport and she was freaking out about missing her flight and her makeup or something, and they stopped the car and gave her the bag of makeup, and then him and Tanika left the vehicle and came back 5 minutes later and she was gone. I wonder if that was some sort of significant shift from what he'd already told investigators, and then when investigators saw it, they knew they had them because of it.
yeah. I think it probably was because it certainly sounded different from what we'd been originally told, I think. And him talking about her carrying a duffel bag that was nearly as big as her, like, whoa. That sounds to me like a major slip there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to come into evidence at trial when they do, if provided they find Phoebe. I would almost put money on it that Phoebe is in a duffel bag. And I hate speculating like that, but you know, the guy's not too bright.
No, and they didn't find like any of her luggage either. So that's got to
Mm,
be somewhere, and you might be right. Maybe they're both in the same place. So
yeah, yeah. So there were reports from various locals who reckoned that there was a big fight outside the IGA and that he basically threw her luggage out of the car and there was a screaming match and she got thrown out of the car as well. I mean, you know, it could just be hearsay information, but I've seen a few people comment on a similar thing. So, you know, it sounds like it did get quite scary there for a while.
there was definitely evidence about that IGA too. Being that
Mm,
it's quite a small town, everyone, and I've lived in Queensland in not in that region. I lived on the Sunshine Coast, which is a smaller place too, and I can tell you that when you live in an area like that, people get to know you, and
yeah,
apparently the girls at that IGA would say Phoebe would often come in looking disheveled, not fed, not showered, that type of thing. So she really, that trip to WA, it was almost like her golden ticket to Willy Wonka, and she was just
yeah,
trying to get out of there.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it sounds like things just weren't working out for her. So, yes, Teresa, IGA is an independent grocery chain in Australia. We've got them all over the place. They're mainly in the small towns, although we've got a few here in Bendigo as well. But they're the Independent Grocery Australia. Thanks, Zoot. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
so it's a
basically,
grocery.
yeah, they're like so there's two main ones here, which is Coles, Woolworths, and then we have a slightly smaller one. It's Aldi, which most of you will have in England or America. But IGA is sort of, I'd call it almost like a cross between a large supermarket and a large convenience store. That's sort of the cross. It's not quite, some of them are not quite as big as a Woolworths, but it's sort of like a mix between the two.
Yeah, and they're more franchise, aren't they? Most of them are like
Yeah,
independently owned.
most of them are owned by like a single owner and not a corporation or something like that.
Mm. just trying to read some of these comments here.
That's okay. That's all right.
Taking the housemates in and out of custody seems like a head fuck deliberately to get them agitated. I think you could be right. I think...
Well, yeah.
How do I pin?
Just click on it, yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. Whoops.
Yeah.
Now I lost it. It's so long since I've done a live.
That's all right.
Okay, got it. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think they've been playing games with those two from the get-go because neither of them are particularly bright, it appears. So, I think all these things, the weapons charges, I mean, they let them out pretty damn quick. The moment that Tanika got out for the second time, on those charges, she gets a second lot of weapons charges and they give her bail. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is, they know what they're doing here. They're onto them.
Well, the quote I have here says, James was brought in 7 times for questioning, and it got to a point where he actually told the police, no, I'm not coming back in.
Wow. I hadn't come across that, but yeah. I think he really thought he'd beat them. I mean, all these comments that he was making about, how he was going to give someone his tinny, his boat, if they helped find Phoebe, and all this ridiculous crap, trying to make it sound like he was, concerned for her. It's like, dude, do you really think anyone's going to see through that at all? Like,
It's almost like he was protesting too much, and that's what everyone picked up on. He was too vocal.
Yeah. Now, you've sat through a lot of trials and stuff. In terms of the phone data, what sort of stuff do you think they've got on them? Because they would have gone out of range in the national park. Apparently there's no reception out there. But, I mean, they would have to have a fair amount of tracking for their phones either way. And I think, yeah.
It provides a problem actually for investigators when these mobile phones, the technology here is slightly different. It's the same, but the kind of software and things they use here are a little bit different. We actually heard during another, I can't remember what trial it was, but they said when the phones move out of range, they do see that on the call charge records, but it doesn't mean they can keep tracking. They can't track it as such. All they know is that the phone is either left or been disconnected from the tower, and that they're not sure why. Sometimes it can be because it's out of range. Sometimes people, do various things to their phone. But yeah, so they can see it, but it means they can't keep finding location data. But if that phone, say, drove out to a national park, turned off because of the out of range, and then returned to an area where there was a signal, you could probably draw that inference that they went out to that area, turned around, and came back. Your problem would be isolating where they actually went, where they left the range of the mobile tower, though. But you would have that record.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I hope they had Telstra and not Optus.
Or
Optus,
Vodafone.
Oh God, yeah. Although I would imagine somewhere like Gingin, you'd probably have to have Telstra because you'd be struggling to get decent reception out that way. Because, I mean, Optus might have improved over the years, but it certainly hasn't been great, historically.
They keep saying they're expanding their network, but it's like it's been the same since I was a teenager. It's still rubbish, and about the only one that has any good coverage outside of the city is Telstra.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, hopefully they do have Telstra. I mean, yeah, like I said, you'd have to in a country area. I mean, I used to live in a small regional town, and everybody had Telstra because otherwise you wouldn't have a phone. So yeah.
Someone in the chat brings up that newer iPhones turn into satellite phones if activated. It's an interesting technology. The problem you have with some of this technology and court cases is, especially if it's sort of like that cutting edge, it's only come out for the last few years, you have to actually test this evidence in a court of law. And sometimes it doesn't get tested in a court of law because they're not confident, or because no one else has done it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to risk their case on, a new technology. So sometimes these things can take a little while to get into trials and things like that, because they're not sure how reliable the data is and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see iPhone satellite tracking at some point in a trial here.
Well, I know that with the Patrick Stevenson case, Samantha Murphy, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Samantha Murphy, she's a Victorian, so from down our end of the country. She went missing a bit over a year ago from Ballarat, and they've got the guy who is responsible, and he will go to trial next year. They haven't found Samantha yet, but I know that they have like this cell phone or mobile phone expert on his case who sounds like he's a world expert. So I think that could be a case to watch in terms of how it's going to help this case out, especially because, again, you've got national parks, and I mean, cell service out in national parks can be shocking. So, that I think hopefully, if I'm right about this, and I can't remember who it is with Patrick Stevenson.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Oh, cool. I mean, hopefully, if they're using someone like that for his trial, then that will, create that precedent, and hopefully they can start using that sort of thing when this one goes to trial.
So the digital expert that they're going to have is digital data expert Jo Parkin. She's a digital data. And then the phone data specialist is Matthew Sorrell. And I'll tell you why that is interesting. He's the same guy that did the Patterson trial. That's Dr. Sorrell. So there you go.
Yeah, I've seen mention of him, and he's quite well known, like not just in Australia. So, we've got specialists like that looking at cases already, like Erin Patterson and Patrick Stevenson. Hopefully, this will lead to some useful things with. Sorry, my brain is just short-circuiting right now. As it does. Hopefully this will be useful when it comes to Phoebe's trial.
I'm not super across or familiar with how Queensland works, but I can tell you that in Dr. Matthew or Dr. Sorrell, when he gave his evidence for the Erin Patterson trial, he says he gives evidence in cases all over Australia. So he's not limited to Victoria. So maybe we'll see him in Queensland too.
Yeah. Well, that'd be good. Anything that brings these guys down. Although, I think, they made themselves look guilty. I mean, the whole of Australia was looking at them on day 2 and just going, yeah, they did it. So, yeah, it's just not going to look good for them.
When the signalling is that bright through the media and everyone can pick up on it, like, I don't think anyone thought anything different. Like, no one was like, oh, there was a sighting in Brisbane. That never happened. And that would happen in a normal missing person investigation. And then that signaling through the media, I think everyone realized it was just a matter of time until they either found Phoebe or they arrested these two, which is what happened last night.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a given, you know, she was desperate to get on that flight and get away. So I think that was, you know, the nail in the coffin for those two, because she wasn't going to just vanish. If she was
No.
going to leave, she was going to get on that flight and go to Western Australia, because, I mean, what is it? That's a, 5.5 hour flight from Brisbane?
Yeah,
It's
about
not
that,
like,
yeah.
and it's not cheap either. So, you know, it was something that would have been enough for her to get away from all the crap that was surrounding her. So you wouldn't for one moment think that she would have chosen to do anything different.
No, she was never
So,
leaving
yeah.
that. She was never not going on that flight. But that actually brings me up to an interesting point. Throughout this investigation, and especially that early evidence or early information that we got, that all came from Tanika and James. So that timeline could be completely inaccurate by the time we actually see the court documents for this. Because when you have that, you know, that flight is a definitive. She's going on that flight, and if she's not there, people will notice, which is what happened. Who knows where that timeline actually meets up, and actually how much of what we've already heard is actually true, because it could all be fake, and we'll find out, oh, she was actually killed the night before in the home. You know what I mean? Like, you can't trust that
Yeah.
information from them.
Although the Queensland Police have released some information now, and they have actually got CCTV footage around the airport. I can't remember where they said it was, but they basically said they have footage of the vehicle with 3 people in it, so that does include Tanika, which answers that question, because that was doing my head in, like, was it or wasn't it? They're saying they've got footage of the 3 of them around the airport area, and the footage also shows that nobody left that vehicle in the area.
It's concerning to me. So what did they do? Did they shoot her in the car and just take her out to the bush or something? Like,
something must have happened, definitely, on the way to the airport, to have done the drive. What is it, from Gingin? It's 40 minutes or something.
something like that.
So to have done the drive from Gingin out to Bundaberg, something had to have happened on the way or in the vicinity of the airport. And then they've basically just headed straight for the national park.
Yeah, that footage is very damning. That footage of that car basically speeding out
Yeah.
to the national park. That's just so, like, he's like, oh, we went out there to, like, look for her. What? So you went to a national park for a girl who's on foot, according to you, and you're like, I'll just check out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the dumbest part of his story. Like, I mean, for starters, Airport Drive, it's going to be a level road because it's an airport. Planes don't fly on hills. So, you know, if you're saying, oh, well, at the most we were gone for 8 minutes, well, that's 4 minutes with your back turned. She would not have gone out of sight in 4 minutes.
No.
And then he's like, oh, well, we didn't check the terminal. We just drove off and checked around Gingin and then headed out to the national park because, yeah, sure. Like, dumbest story I've ever heard.
It definitely sounds like someone's been smoking a lot of meth, for sure.
That's for sure. But, yeah. Oh, I've got some of my people coming in now. Yay. Hi to my followers. It's good to see a few people dropping in. I know I said I would never do live streams, but I thought it would be good to just get another Aussie in who is also familiar with this case. My sound's not very clear, Pamela? Oh, no. I've got it bumped up about as much as I can. yeah, I'm not sure what else I can do with it. I've got it about as bumped up as I can. It's fine
Are
for
you
you,
talking on
Anchor?
are you talking through a microphone, like your tablet or whatever microphone, or you got a USB microphone?
No, I've got a Rode, so I'm
Oh yeah.
basically going through an iRig through to the Rode microphone. So
Oh yeah.
um,
That's pretty cool.
it's kind of techie. It should it should work, but okay. But other
I hear
people are
you
saying it
loud and
sounds
clear
fine.
in my headphone. Yeah, so in my headphones
Yeah.
that I'm wearing, I hear you okay.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Well, we've gone past that then. Apologies for anyone who is struggling to hear me. I know sometimes I do lean back a bit, but yeah. So where were we? We were talking about how stupid wood is, but you know that's the theme of the day, really. Um, I've lost track of where we were at.
Yeah, let me go to the quotes from today because I think that will bring some illumination to what's been going on. Let me bring up this
Yeah.
exclusive from the Daily. So just so they don't come after us and try and sue us, we'll just say courtesy of the Daily Mail. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is their exclusive that they had only about an hour ago. Let me bring one of these quotes. So they say how they talked to him in the surrounding area over the past few days before he was arrested. And then there's a quote down here. Wood also told our reporter, as far as he, and this is in a quote, as far as I'm aware, they were looking for my friend, my missing friend, and now they have stopped and are looking at me. Well, I'm glad he caught on.
He really is. He's a bright one, isn't he?
And then it says here another quote from him when he was talking to Jonica Bray. He says, I don't know when it changed to a murder investigation. Okay.
Oh my gosh. He's definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, that's for sure.
I just don't know why he was talking to the media at all. It seems like a self sabotage, really. If you think you're person of interest number one in a police investigation, probably the most dumb thing you could do is go reach out to a media person like someone from the Mail and go and give quotes to them over not just one day, a few days. It's not very clever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he really. Queensland police must have been just sitting back and just rubbing their hands and just going, thank you, keep talking. Like, just what a tool. I mean, he is an embarrassment to Australia. He really is.
There you go. There's his profile photo.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I'll
That
take
is
it off.
so gross. Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, they didn't even wash that Hyundai. In the images that have come out from the media, you can see all the mud in the wheel arch, and there's even like grass curled up underneath it. So forensics are going to have a field day with that. You
Yeah,
know,
they might be able to tie it back to the specific area. Like they can do some really fancy stuff with like insect growth, types of
mm,
plants that only grow in certain areas, and tire track marks. So there could be a few things if he's not cleaning his car.
yeah, and also, although I'd imagine, like in terms of road surface, they probably do a lot of the same roads with the same from the same quarry. But you know, they would also have stuff off the actual dirt roads where they've been resurfaced. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it could. But if they went into the Goodnight Scrubland or Scrub National Park, that wouldn't have fully surface roads for everywhere, especially if they put it deep into that park, because they already searched the sort of like the outside of it. If she's like 4 kilometers into it, I don't know how deep those paved roads go into that place.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking like just your clay and gravel kind of country roads.
Oh yeah.
they probably get that all from the same quarry when they
That's probably
resurface
true.
them. But, the fact that there's grass hanging off the bottom of that car says to me that they've taken it off the road. So that should hopefully mean that forensics will have plenty of evidence in the wheel well of that vehicle. Touch wood.
Rachel says, are they still searching the park? So from what I understand, the search restarted today. I don't know if they found anything, but they were going back out for some sort of, I don't know if it's as big as the one that happened like 2 weeks ago, but they were searching again today.
So they must have some more intel to be doing that. I guess maybe they've got forensics in as well. Some of the stuff that's, being looked at by forensics might take longer to come in.
Well, some of this cell phone data takes, like when you call up a telco and you want cell phone data, if you just want a ping of a location, that's pretty easy. They can do that. Anything more detailed than that can take days, weeks, months. And then
Yeah.
if you can't get into their phones either, if they don't hand over the PIN code, then you don't have that GPS data and you don't have that Google services or iPhone services data either. So
Yeah, although they can do a warrant for Google and Apple and everything, whatever their phones are.
it just takes a long time.
It takes a really long time to come back. Hopefully, I mean, the guy's such a tool. He probably handed over his phone early on in the case, and they probably downloaded the whole thing in the first week.
Well, it does say here, he says, and he told Johnny Cabray, I gave them my phone. I told them everything I knew. My car was declared a crime scene and then given back to me. Yeah, it was given back to you on purpose, buddy.
They're really, really not bright, are they?
If I was in this type of investigation, I know our knowledge is a little higher because we do true crime, but I wouldn't touch anything a cop gave me back, like if they took it for more than 10 seconds, because
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's got a tracking number, like tracking device in it. It's got something there. They took all your serial numbers and they're tracking it remotely. Like they do a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, you can be pretty certain. I mean, especially given how quickly they gave that car back. They must have just processed it really quickly, whacked on a tracker, and went, here you go, have the car back.
Oh, yeah. They probably just put a couple of listening devices in the roof and then gave it back.
I wonder if when Tanika was reporting for bail and they let her park that Hi-Ace around the back of the police department, I can't help wondering if they may have just whacked anything onto that at the same time.
Yeah, because that didn't make any sense. Like, why are you giving them special treatment? Like, why are you giving them any protection at all? Like, why do you care? That never made any sense to me because everyone else who is someone who has been on bail or whatever, they just have to do go to the thing and walk in the front door. Like, why are you giving her backroom access? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I thought there had to be some sort of strategy to that. Because, like you said, why otherwise would you do it? Everyone else has to go in the front door.
Yeah.
And, now that they're saying that they believe that Phoebe was moved in another vehicle and they've just taken that Toyota, read between the lines, basically. So.
Yeah, I think the story will. So they're next due back in court 11th of August of this year, so a couple of months away. And I think if they end up having that, sometimes they push these back depending on what happens. But if we do get that committal mention in August, there should be a brief that's handed over because they've been given 8 weeks. That should be enough for cops to give that to the court, it's possible we will be able to get a copy of it and see what evidence or what they think happened. So
Yeah. I reckon they'll probably push it back more. I mean, if they're both relying on legal aid, then I'd say things aren't going to move all that fast. I mean, unless I can't see Wood having anyone to back him up and give him the money for a decent lawyer. Tanika, who knows? I mean, maybe Tanika's got family who'll support her, but he's going to be relying on legal aid, which means that this could be a really slow journey getting to trial, I think.
I agree. I think we're probably going to look at maybe late 2026, could be 2027 by the time this sees an actual trial.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. I think, I mean, it sounds like they're still going through a lot of evidence. They're still searching for a lot of forensic stuff and everything. So, yeah.
Well, they got to find her too.
Yeah. Which, when you start talking about national parks in Australia, that is challenging. I mean, it's been, how long with Samantha Murphy? 15, 16 months now?
Something like that. It's been almost a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, down here in Victoria it probably isn't nearly as dense as up in Queensland. I imagine, national park up there would be a nightmare to search.
I had a look at it. There's actually a dam that's not too far down. It's on the edge of that parkland, that national park. There's a giant dam. Hold on, I'll show it to you. Hold on. Give me a sec. You talk to the chat,
Okay.
I'll be back.
Cool. I'm just having a look at who's in here. Princess Pillow. That makes sense. Police made them feel special and like they weren't suspects, gave their stuff back, knowing they would immediately mess up. That is so true. They were too dumb to realise what was going on. And thankfully there weren't too many people covering the case on YouTube, because I could have imagined some YouTubers just bumbling in and speculating over investigative stuff and just giving stuff away, giving them tips on that sort of stuff.
So that's the dam right there. That's Paradise Dam. It's not too far. It's just on the outskirts of the parkland. So if I zoom out, there's the river system, the Burnett River. This runs through the southern part of it. And if we go up, so there you go, Goodnight Scrub National Park. But the road that they were interested in is up here. I'm pretty sure there's, I don't know how to pronounce this, Gaynada Road. And there's a cross section here of Mingo Road. This is the road that they were interested in right here. Actually, the quality's not great. I'll zoom out. There you go. And there's that water that they were talking about right here. This is the Tenoring Creek, and it runs all the way through here. So that's that waterway that they had the divers in. And there's that crossroads that they put on their missing person poster. So.
Wow. That is a huge area.
Oh yeah, when you zoom out, it's monstrous. Look, I'll zoom out. This is the national park. Look at it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It goes from this, like, where you see that dark green, that's all the Goodnight Scrub National Park.
That's massive. I mean, as soon as you start heading inland like that, you're going to have all these vast areas like that where it's going to make it so hard. Although, given that in Queensland it's a nobody know, what's the word? My brain's frozen again.
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I was just going to say I was having a mental block.
That's okay.
Queensland's got the nobody know parole thing. So
right, they do.
basically, they're looking at being locked up for a long time, and they're not going to be getting out early if if Phoebe doesn't get found. So,
on the update that the cops had for update number 5 on the QPS website, one of the quotes they had was very interesting because they've called off those large scale searches because you see the type of area they have here. It's massive. But they said when new information comes into them or new intelligence, they will do more focused searches. So something tells me they already knew that she was dead and they were trying to get a more precise location from the people involved. So maybe they were able to find something, or maybe they picked up on something in one of the interviews with Tanika or James. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be overly loyal towards each other.
Oh, no.
So that, that's going to work in favour of finding Phoebe. Because, yeah, you go, sorry.
No, it's all right. I was going to say, you offer one of them a plea deal or something like that, like lesser charges to roll on whoever actually pulled the trigger. If they, that's just a metaphor. We don't know if she was killed, but whoever the cops can figure out actually did the killing, they're going to go to the opposite person and they're going to try pressure them into saying, hey, we only want the person who actually killed her. If you tell us what you know, we'll give you some like real slap on the wrist type charges. You'll only serve like 6 months in jail. I guarantee you they're already working on it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think given that Tanika's got children, I think they're going to be able to use that to their advantage because, if she goes away for a long time, her kids are going to be grown up and she's never ever really going to even know her kids. I don't know what her situation there is anyway, but, it might be something that they work against her.
I agree with you. I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's these processes with police that they're not easy. They sort of are like a gradual stepping stone because when you get arrested for this, it's a shock to the system. Even if you were involved in the crime, being in jail, being transported, and they wait for them to become like they'll do it now, but if they can't get it, they'll just keep like chipping away at it for like days and weeks, and eventually hopefully they crack through that facade and hopefully they'll get her to turn because James is not going to stand by her. He's not going to be like, I'll wait for you when I'm a 72-year-old man. Like, no.
No, he's all about himself. He's got no interest. They've only been together since October.
Yeah, it's a young relationship.
It is. And early on in the case, I think it was Tanika's brother came forward and was saying that Woods was a bad influence on her and, she wasn't normally like that. She just fell into bad habits because of him. So, they may be able to get her to talk. That may be something that ends up helping them out.
I think the relationship between Tanika and Phoebe's mother is interesting too. So Tanika used to work at the same company as Phoebe's mother, and then Phoebe's mother had to fire her. I don't know why she was fired, but she used to work for the same company, and eventually the mum let her go. So yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like they were quite close. So yeah, it's really interesting. That I gather that that's how Phoebe became close to Tanika through her mother's business. So maybe the woman has a conscience. Maybe she will come forward and tell them where Phoebe is. If she knows.
You'd hope so. She would know. I reckon she was there for the whole thing.
Yeah, well, if they've pulled her in and they've given her the same charges, they've got to have solid evidence to be able to give her those charges. They can't just randomly whack those charges on her just for the fun of it.
Well, they
So-
could do. It could be James that killed her. Well, it could be Tanika too. We don't know. I'm not singling any of them out, but they could have done it like Conspiracy and Company, where because
Yeah.
they were both present for the crime, even though only one of them killed them, they both copped the same charges. So
So they would have to be able to have her present, like,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
as part of their investigation. And same with the moving Phoebe's body. To be able to give the 2 charges to Tanika as well means that they know that she was involved.
At least they're involved. We don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is a story about a very hostile woman. Like we heard that story about Tanika pulling a sawn-off shotgun out of her car seat and pointing it at a passenger in her vehicle. So you never know.
Yeah. I mean, there's been so many people have been saying that they think the pair of them were on meth and everything, and you know, when people are on drugs, dumb things happen. So could be anything.
That's right. I agree with you. Yeah, actually, Alana's right. I have to go, unfortunately, because I've still got work to do for the Erin Patterson stuff. But we should do this again. We should do this
We
again
should.
and talk again.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. It's been really good. For anyone who has not been over to Ping's channel, I did try and I did put it as a comment early on in the piece, but for some reason it wouldn't let me put my own. Are you able to drop your link?
Yeah,
Actually,
hold on. I can grab it. Grab it from my Twitter. I don't often post it because I'm always on my channel. So, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Join. Actually, I can't. It won't let me in the chat. Here, I can post it in our chat for you. There it is.
Hang on. If I go... Whoops. Now I'm lost.
So there should be one that says like private chat, and that's just for us.
Am I still in here?
Yeah, you were. You dropped out for like 1 second, but
I screwed up. I have put it in the description section for this live stream.
I appreciate it.
And when this live stream ends, I'll also do it as a tag. So anyone who wants to go over and check out Ping's channel, you can find it in the description section for this video, or you'll see the @Ping in the title, and you can just click on that and that'll take you to Ping's channel also. And on that note, it sounds like my chihuahua is just heading into crazy mode, so it probably is a good time to finish.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for reaching out and sending some people my way the other week. I appreciate that, and things will calm down as the Erin Patterson thing comes to a bit more of a conclusion. I'll have a bit more time, and we can do some longer live streams together if you want.
Yeah. Maybe a bit more of a chat about this, and maybe a chat about the Samantha Murphy case at some point too. So
sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for popping in. This has been great. And
you're welcome.
Thanks for everyone who's popped in and been here on this live, and everyone who's listening on replay. It's been good. On that note, thanks, and everyone who's been here, thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out, and see you all again soon.